The following program is an opinion program. The opinions expressed by the hosts and guests of this program are not the opinions of the management, staff, and advertisers of this station. Please direct all criticism, concern, and adulation to the hosts of this program.
Hey, folks, welcome to Alabama Politics This Week. I am Dale Jackson. I'm a radio talk show host, and you can hear my shows across the state of Alabama from 5 until 9 on WVNN in Huntsville and from 10 until noon on Talk 99.5 in Birmingham. And with me, as always, Mecca Music, the CEO of 256today.com. She joins us, and we are ready to talk you through all the things happening here in the great state of Alabama. So let's go ahead and get right to it. Let's get to the 2-minute warning. All right, Mecca, let's talk a little bit about how the Alabama State House and probably the state Senate soon will eliminate failing schools from the state of Alabama. There will be no more failing schools because they've decided to pass a bill that says we'll change the name of failing schools to bottom 6% schools because the word failing is just too mean. And I heard about this, how the schools were sad because of this. So I drove like 2 miles in any direction and hit a failing Alabama school, and I just started hugging on it. And I was hugging the school, and I was caressing the door, and I was like, it's going to be okay. You're not going to be stupid forever. You're going to be okay one day. Becca, why are they doing this other than to give me something to talk about?
Okay, well, that's mainly it, I think. But first of all, you are misdirecting your anger, okay? What needs to be addressed first is the metrics used to decide what is a failing school and what is not. The bottom, there should be benchmarks rather than rankings, right? And so that needs to be done away with. If they're going to fix anything, fix that and then come back to the board and decide a better vocabulary word that fits the situation.
Maybe that's not a bad idea. I wouldn't hate it. But if they came up with a metric and said this metric is a failing school, there'd be way more. Because what they do now is they take all the failures and just say, okay, just the bottom 6 are failing schools. And so they're not going to do what you want them to do because that would correctly identify that the school that's at the bottom 7%, that's also failing. And the one that's at the bottom 30%, that's failing. And the one at the bottom 50%, that's failing. We got schools
it's not accurate. I'm just saying it's not accurate. It's not an accurate reflection of benchmarks or of success rates or anything like that. I don't have a problem if they want to call it a new word. I can see how that would just ruin your day, but I don't have a problem with it.
Would a bottom 6% school ever be a good school?
I'm sure. Why would you say that?
Because it's impossible.
Okay,
the bottom 6% of schools could not possibly be a good school.
Okay, but listen. What if we had the best schools in the nation? You know, what if somehow Alabama was number 1? Would you then call their bottom 6%, the bottom 6% of Alabama schools as failing?
Probably the bottom 6% of radio shows are terrible radio shows. Okay, so I mean, yes. So I understand your point, but I would still say the bottom 6% of schools in Rhode Island, let's just pick a place that I think might have good schools. Yeah. Probably suck. All right, so let's move on and let's talk a little bit about some freshmen, and they're putting in some work, and they are doing a great job, no question about this. Now, look, I've said this before for years now about Tommy Tuberville. I've been pleasantly surprised. Okay, me and Tuberville during the campaign, we had it out. Me and Katie Britt, we didn't see eye to eye during the campaign either. Not that we any of us had any political disagreements or anything. We just supported different people, and that's fine. Dale Strong and I have always been boys. So I knew he was going to be a great congressman from the very beginning. But back to the original story here. Katie Britt polling shows that she is the most popular freshman United States senator in the country right now. And I think that's absolutely amazing. In the state of Alabama, she is a plus 27% positive. And just to put it in perspective, Joe Biden is got a 66% disapproval rating in Alabama. So they love Katie Britt in Alabama. Dale Strong doing great as well. We'll talk a little bit more about what he's doing. But what do you think Katie Britt thinks about this?
I don't think she thinks about it. I think she's out there doing the job that she wants to do. And you're saying we'll talk about Dallas as well, but listen, both of them are doing such a great job because listen, seniority matters in DC, but they are making the most of their positions as freshmen and and making a difference and working and putting in that work and really getting themselves noticed and raising their profile so as their seniority grows, so will, their capabilities.
I'll talk about Strong for just a second. On immigration, he has been absolutely awesome. He has stood up and he has made the point. Look, here's the problem we have with this. Fix it. Fix it. Here's how you fix it. Actually do something. And he made a great point that they're handcuffing agents as opposed to handcuffing bad guys. And I know it wasn't being literal, but sometimes in some ways they are. They actually tried to get the agents in trouble in the past for the whipping thing and made it up. And as for Katie Britt, this thing about her, if Republicans are smart, you take that face from Alabama and you put it in every suburb in this country in the next election, and you let her stand up there and say, I care, over and over and over again, and let her drive the Republican message, and they will be much better off.
Well, I mean, she has already been tapped as a rising Republican star. And listen, this cannot be stated enough. Both of them are just overwhelmingly likable. And when you're likable, people want to work with you. People want to help you. And I think that's another reason they've been so successful as freshmen in DC.
People will view this as a negative. They're good politicians. That's how people will view it, but it's not negative. It's not negative. It's a positive. I'm praising them. They're good politicians.
I think they're good politicians, but I think their personality wise, they're likable. It's hard not to like them. Even
Same
when you did not support Brit, you liked her.
Oh yeah, no question. All right, let's talk about our next issue. Someone I don't like, whistleblower. Now, I like the whistleblower. I don't like the fact that the whistleblower had to exist because the IRS and the DOJ is handling the Biden situation incorrectly. That's what the whistleblower is arguing here. We loved whistleblowers during the Trump year. We also loved leakers during the Trump year. Now all of a sudden we don't like leakers and we don't like whistleblowers. What's next? We're gonna hate Bud Light or something? Could that possibly happen in this era? Maybe. But let's go back to the important issue, the whistleblower issue. Does this surprise you? Because you would think that they would be minding their P's and Q's on this. And now it appears, I believe, Merrick Garland gave false testimony to Congress, and this whistleblower is about to blow him up.
Okay, so from my perspective, to me, I would say, wow, this is something they cannot afford to mishandle. I mean, you know that people are going to be scrutinizing you. You know that there's going to be people looking over to making sure this is done correctly. However, then I take a step back from kind of our bubble. I accuse you of being in the bubble so much. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure how much regular people care about this.
Well, I think they will care about it.
I know you care about it. And I think everybody's in agreement. Hunter's had some problems and some challenges, but it seems like for a lot of them, this is, that's just Hunter. That's how it is.
Well, that's because of the way it's been covered. I think that's why, because the most salacious thing is he's a crackhead, right? Oh, he's a crackhead. That's the most salacious thing. But is he also corrupt, and did his dad help him? Now we have 9 Bidens apparently under tax investigation or something like that. I can't even think of 9 Jacksons. I don't think, but they got 9 Bidens grifting off of Hunter Biden. I mean, look, and there's all sorts of stuff here. Hunter said in release stuff in this laptop, your dad is, I won't take 50% like dad does, that kind of stuff. So there's something going on here. If it gets exposed, people will care. And when people will care is when the media turns and stops ignoring this and says, okay, now we can get another president. Let's go after him.
Listen, I don't know if it's quite being ignored because there are stories. It is being covered. I just don't know if people are really engaged with this story yet.
Yeah, CBS covered this part of the story. They are the only major network that covered the whistleblower on the day it came out. So there's that. All right, last thing here. Let's talk about Kay Ivey. She has signed yet another COVID response bill. When I say that, I mean a bill that's in response to the COVID situation, from 2019, and it's 2023 right now. I mean, I realize it went a little further than that. We've had bills that say no more masking. We've had bills that say no more vaccines mandates for anyone. Kay Ivey, when she had a chance to actually be the governor and do something about this, not interested. But after the fact, she's like, yeah, I'm totally in on this. This bill, which I like, it's Garland Gutter's bill out of Coleman, I believe. And he says, if you want to go into that room and your mom's dying of COVID, you can go into that room and hold her hand. That's on you. You can do that. A bill that shouldn't even be necessary, but is. And I appreciate the fact that they did this, go in at your own risk and all this other stuff.
Right.
But man, where were these guys years ago?
Listen, again, I'm going to have the same response as I did last week with Ivy. Like, well, yeah, now it's not divisive. Now it's all just good news and something people can get behind. So, of course, it makes perfect sense to do now if you're Ivy.
Let me ask you something about this, just off topic here. It's a similar related. RFK Jr. is an anti-vaxxer. Okay, he is. He was an anti-vaxxer before people were who didn't want to get the COVID shot right away. By the way, they were right about a lot of the things that went on with it, but they were called anti-vaxxers. This guy's a legit anti-vaxxer. Does all this COVID stuff make him more legitimate than he would be if he was just like, I'm Robert F. Kennedy, anti-vaxxer? Would he be more legitimate in that case?
I think absolutely. I think that it's definitely more mainstream to question vaccines. I mean, whether you agree with it or not, you can't disagree that it's not a lot more mainstream and a lot more people questioning these things.
Yeah. I don't know how much Democrats are going to cozy up to a guy who cozies up to Tucker Carlson last night or over the week during this week, but I think he is going to be an interesting part of the conversation for a couple of things. One, he has the voice thing. He has an issue with his voice, so he sounds kind of strange. And there's something wrong with him. I'm not making fun of him. I'm just saying he sounds that way. And two, he's got that Kennedy name. Okay, that thing does more than help you. Never mind. I was going to say something about sororities, but I'm not going to talk about it. But this other thing, it does more than just get you in those doors. It opens up all sorts of doors for you. It's just he's got something that makes him far more interesting than a random crank not named Kennedy. So I think that he could be a player there. I know we're way off topic, but go ahead.
I know we're off topic, but let me add also, he will get coverage. He will get headlines. And that's huge for anyone. I mean, and he just gets to walk in and do this. So it'll be interesting.
He's got two very extreme positions. One, vaccines, two, climate. It should be interesting to see those two play together, and we'll see how those go. All right, Mega, hang on one second. When we come back, Jeff Poor will be with us at FM Talk 106.5 down in Mobile. Stay tuned.
You work hard to earn little escapes because doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for my friends at University Kia. Now look, I love Kias. I've driven plenty of them. I used to have a Kia Sportage. When my son was born, my wife said, no, we got to get ourselves one of these big SUVs. The Telluride from University Kia is an absolutely amazing vehicle. You get it at a great price, but you get everything at University Kia at a great price. Learn more about them today. Head on over to universitykia.com. Find the perfect vehicle for you, new and pre-owned. They got it for you. universitykia.com.
Want fun, safe, intelligent fitness programming? Want to build muscular strength, cardiovascular endurance, drastically improved range of motion and mobility, and learn proper nutrition to fuel your life with energy and emotional health? Well, come find out why Iron Tribe Fitness is ranked one of the top 5 fitness programs in America. Come find out why personal training and intentionally working on your current movement patterns individually is not only important, it's just another core value that separates Iron Tribe Fitness from other fitness facilities.
To learn how to get your 2-week free pass, go to irontribefitness.com.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here, and this is my son, Grant. Now, I'm here to talk to you about Top Shelf Customized Cleaning. He's a handful, I'm a handful, and if I want to stay married, I need Top Shelf Customized Cleaning to come and take care of my house. They do an amazing job for me, and they'll do an amazing job for you. Cindy loves them. I love them. Grant loves them as well. Check them out on Facebook. Top Shelf Customized Cleaning. And don't forget, call them today, 256-417-9122. And when you talk to them, make sure you tell them Grant sent you.
Have you filed for disability benefits but were denied by the Social Security Administration? Or do you need to apply for benefits and are overwhelmed with paperwork? Are you between the ages of 50 to 63 and can no longer work because of an illness or injury? Thousands of hardworking Americans are in your situation. They file for disability benefits every month and are unnecessarily denied their much-needed benefit check. Call now for a no-obligation, free evaluation. We can help you nearly double your chances of approval and get your benefit checks faster. We understand the physical, emotional, and financial impact and will share our insider expertise. There is a time limit to apply. We're here to help you get your disability claim filed and paid as soon as possible. Please, time is limited, so if you are between the ages of 50 to 63 and can no longer work because of an illness or injury, call right now and let us help you file your disability claim with the Social Security Administration.
2 years ago, Alabama made a smart decision to invest in infrastructure and fix our broken old roads and bridges. But we're still awfully stingy about who gets to drive on them. Nearly 170,000 Alabama drivers have lost their licenses because they missed payments on tickets. Support the bipartisan driver's license bill and get Alabamians back on the road. Workers drive Alabama. When we're free to drive, we're free to work.
Welcome back to Alabama Politics This Week. I am Dale Jackson. With me, as always, Mecca Music. And our guest this week from FM Talk 106.5 down in Mobile. He is with Lagniappe. He is with Breitbart. He is with 1819 News. He is a very, very busy guy. Jeff Poor is with us. He's probably down at the State House right now, just hanging out there. That's just what he does. Jeff, he has spent a lot of time at the State House this week, and they've passed some bills that we were talking about before. I want to talk to you about this failing school bill. You know, school choice has been an issue that you've mocked me for. Mecca says I'm the only one in the state who cares about it. It's probably true, but it makes me realize how big of a problem we have here when we have our legislators going, how do we get this failing school label to go away? Oh, I know. We'll just call it bottom 6% of schools. That'll solve the problem. Hell, all of our constituents were educated in Alabama schools. They'll fall for it. So that sounds like what it looks like to me, Jeff. What do you take from that?
It's the self-esteem culture that you don't want to send your kid to a failing school, and they don't want your kids to be told or be thinking that they're at a failing school, so we'll just change the name. This has been something they've been talking about for a while. The school boards wanted to do this. Mackey's wanted this to happen. They don't like mean names or just the brutal truth of the matter. It has something to do with it, but also it's an anti-accountability mechanism phenomenon that it makes the AEA's members look bad. I think they really pushed this to happen. So there's a bunch of different reasons that all kind of came together and got rid of this label.
Listen, also that there is the point that what kind of stigma is associated with for these children. Don't worry about the AA. Don't worry about, the school's feelings, Dale. But I mean, there are kids who go to these schools who succeed, who go on to college and do things like that. I mean, maybe there is a better word to describe it without lessening accountability.
Well, I'm sure, and I mean, it's all true, but that's not the motivations here. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. This is for them. They're trying to better how they look, their image, and make themselves look better. I mean, there's probably some people that really have heartfelt sentiments about this, but I promise you this will not happen on that alone. It's happening because they don't like the way it is perceived in the public that these schools are failing.
I just the other day, my son was asking me what grade did his school get. He's a 5-year-old and he wanted to know if his school was failing or not. I don't think that kids even know about that, man. I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe when they get older, they hear about it and they don't want to sort of have that reputation. I get that part. I do. I'm joking about it, but I understand it. I think that it is an accountability thing. And by the way, I think the beginning of this, Jeff, was an attempt to get around the Accountability Act. Because if you could get them to change the branding of it without going back and, sometimes stuff happens and changing the wording of the Accountability Act. No, sorry. It's bottom 6% of schools that are failing that get Accountability Act opportunities. And now it's not failing. Now it's bottom 6. No more money there. I mean, it's borderline an anti-school choice move. Do you agree with that, Jeff?
I can see that, but the legislature won't take kindly. I mean, that's just the spirit of the law. And if these members feel like they're being duped, then they will go back and they'll say, well, they'll adjust it. They won't undermine. They may be able to try, but they may get away with it for a while, but they won't be able to undermine it for long, I don't believe.
The Accountability Act, I think, was the first shot at school choice. And I think there's success measures you could use. They don't want to expand it. And Jeff and Mecca, I think we've all talked about this enough. I am the bad guy in this scenario who says school choice for all and all this other stuff. Jeff, it seems to be crystal clear here. that's over this session. You didn't like the way the Price Act was put together. The sponsors were not the right people in the way you framed it before. But there is, I don't think, a serious attempt to move forward on this.
Well, I would say this, though, you got to still try. And you got to get people on the record about school choice and at least get them to say why they didn't vote for a school choice bill. You got to get them to say, well, this isn't the right bill, but I'm for school choice or whatever. But I think it's important not to totally throw in the towel. You're down like 50-0 at the half. So do you just go home? No, I mean, you still got to do it because you're setting up for next year or the next year when this actually does happen. So as disheartening as it is, I just don't think the Price Act is the right act, especially under the circumstances we have. But I do think they still got to vote. They still got to get it through committee, and this sets it up for future success.
Jeff, tell me, what is your main issues with the Price Act? I'm just curious. Not that I'm going to disagree with you.
Well, I don't have an issue with the substance of the bill, but I'll tell you what it is. The sponsors of the bill just aren't the right sponsors. You've got to have people that can bring along some votes, that can work it through committee. Dr. Stutz, he has a couple of terms under him. He's probably not the right guy for that. You need somebody that's more in the education policy realm. And then in the House, Ernie Yarborough, as a freshman member, this is his 15th legislative day today. You need somebody with some seniority that can work the bill, like I said. So these two sponsors, I just don't think we're the right guys for the right time, and that's why I'm not high on the prospects. The bill's fine, I suppose, but as far as handicapping it's just low marks on that.
I mean, I'll say this the best way I can. Del Marsh, they ain't. I mean, that's just a reality.
Right.
Del Marsh was the pro tem of the Senate and couldn't get it done. And here you just said this guy's in his 15th day. So maybe that is the case. Jeff, another thing that we thought might get a little play, now looks like it's even falling apart, the grocery tax thing. I'm watching guys who were like grocery tax instead of rebate, grocery tax instead of rebate going, maybe neither. I mean, it really seems, I heard today, I've heard from people who said maybe a savings account is the way to go. Could they possibly, the supermajority Republican legislature, get through this session without offering up a tax rebate, or an end of the grocery tax or something? They have all the surplus, one-time money. Now's the time to do it. Could they get through all of this? The governor apparently only wants the rebate. Could we get to the end of this and we get a rebate of like $35?
No, I don't think so. I think you'll get some kind of grocery tax relief. I still am very, very bullish on the Orr Garrett proposal of rolling it back. I guess Dr. Orr stole that from you. But I think that's got a good chance. I think the rebate discussion's dead. There'll be some money for a savings account in there for sure, but there's enough momentum here, and they've gone too far down this road to back away from the grocery tax relief, I believe.
Listen, I would agree with that, but I hear lawmakers still saying like, well, maybe we can do both, because when I'm asking them, it's like, well, these seem mutually exclusive. And they're saying, oh, no. Do you see a path forward where they try to do both, maybe both poorly, but they try to pursue both options?
I don't know about the rebates. I don't think that had support, and you hear a lot of lawmakers talk it down. I do think maybe they'll try it, but I do think the grocery tax has still got legs. And because a lot of these guys have gone back home and already told their constituents this is what they are working on, and to kind of back off it all of a sudden midstream is going to upset a lot of people.
We're out of time here.
Let's not forget. Wait. Sorry, one more.
Go ahead. Let's
not forget though, like rebates. Ivy came out strong on these. What does that mean if she can't make this happen?
She's getting everything else she wants with economic incentives, but she also she said $20 million for a water park in Montgomery. They're going to axe that out. The money for the airports, the money for the World Games, I think, is gone too.
Yeah, all of it sounds good. Mecca, thank you very much. Jeff Porter, thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for watching and listening. When we come back, Mecca's gone. Show gets better. I promise you that. Jeff Porter, FM Talk 106.5. We'll talk to you in just a bit. Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for my friends at University Kia. Now look, I love Kias. I've driven plenty of them. I used to have a Kia Sportage. When my son was born, my wife said, no, we got to get ourselves one of these big SUVs. The Telluride from University Kia is an absolutely amazing vehicle. You get it at a great price, but you get everything at University Kia at a great price. Learn more about them today. Head on over to universitykia.com. Find the perfect vehicle for you, new and pre-owned. They got it for you. universitykia.com.
You work hard to earn little escapes because doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com.
Other southern states like Mississippi have stopped suspending folks' driver's licenses because they can't afford to pay tickets. Not Alabama. Nearly 170,000 Alabama drivers have lost their licenses because they missed payments on tickets. Hard to take care of your kids if you can't get them where they need to be. Support the bipartisan driver's license bill and get these folks back on the road. Workers drive Alabama. When we're free to drive, we're free to work.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here, and this is my son, Grant. Now, I'm here to talk to you about Top Shelf Customized Cleaning. He's a handful, I'm a handful, and if I want to stay married, I need Top Shelf Customized Cleaning to come and take care of my house. They do an amazing job for me, and they'll do an amazing job for you. Cindy loves them, I love them, Grant loves them as well. Check them out on Facebook, Top Shelf Customized Cleaning. And don't forget, call them today, 256-417-9122. And when you talk to them, make sure you tell them Grant sent you. Hey folks, welcome back to Alabama Politics This Week. I am Dale Jackson. As we wrap the show up today, we'll get to the party shot where we'll talk about a school situation that not only screams school choice now, but it also screams, hey, leave these kids alone. We'll talk about that in just a second. Though, before I do that, though, let me remind you, head on over to yellowhammernews.com, sign up for my email blast. It's the 7 things you should be talking about today. Every single day, Monday through Friday, it'll show up in your email inbox. People love it. You will love it as well. Go sign up right there. But now, let's go ahead and get to the parting shot. My parting shot this week is directed at a Major and Air Force JROTC instructor in Madison, Alabama, at Bob Jones in the Madison City School System. She apparently decided that she wanted to let her students know that Turning Point USA, a Republican conservative activist group led by Charlie Kirk, that invites high school students and college students to get involved in the political process if they are conservative and they're feeling outnumbered. And she decided she wanted to let the students know that that organization has ties to the KKK and white nationalists. Now, it does not. Okay, well, let me be as crystal clear as I can. This idea that everything that you disagree with is racist is incredibly weak, especially from an Air Force officer and from an educator. And this woman is both. When I was in the military, there were the 7 Army values: leadership, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, personal courage. And guess what? She exemplified none of those here. Because when she was called out for what she did, where she slandered a student, she then denied she did it, wrote an intimidating letter / email to the student's parents, because he's the vice president of the organization, and therefore he's part of an organization with ties to the KKK, which is insane because it is 2023, not 1865. But forget about all of that. She denied that she did any of this. And then, in an audio clip, she admits she did it, and she does it again. Now, Madison City Schools has been completely quiet about this. It is completely unacceptable, in my opinion, and hopefully they will take a look at it. But it is just another example of people involved in school systems trying to tell your children what they're supposed to believe and treating them unfairly. And when called on it, acting as if they're above it all. And that is completely wrong. Madison City Schools should do something about this. If not, the state legislature might want to take a look at this and decide to do something as well. Thank you very much for watching and listening to Alabama politics this week all over the great state of Alabama. We'll be back next week. Thanks for being here.